Hello everyone, welcome back to another UK film review video review. I hope everyone's doing well. My name's James Learoyd, and today I will be talking about a new animated Christmas short film, a family film. It's about 22 minutes long, and it's called Faith and the Christmas Star. This film is written by Trenning and Abby Davenport, with Abby Davenport directing and Trenning composing the score for the film. This is a film I really liked a lot. It's a very soothing and easy to watch film, very simple, and most impressively, almost entirely presented without the need of dialogue or sort of conventional expository narrative devices. This is a film that just flows, much like the protagonist of our film, who simply leaves her house and on this snowy winter's day and goes and ice skates past all sorts of different environments and characters and activities and textures and goings-ons, and eventually she comes to learn a couple of sort of I suppose lessons about kindness in a way, and it's true that at the heart of this story is kind of these Christian stories, and you've got what I speak about a little bit in my written review is that about halfway through the film you have a sequence which is the least effective sequence in the film, where it basically recalls the story of the birth of Christ, and this is actually a little bit detracting from the main narrative trajectory and also the main style of the film. So yeah, I'll get into this just to get the negative out of the way first. This is a very different style of filmmaking to what most of this movie is. This little montage in the middle does slow the film down. It makes it stagnant a little bit and a little bit explainy in a way that none of the rest of the film is, because the rest of the film is so wonderful because it doesn't really have to spell out anything, and it's quite universal because you can just watch it without dialogue, and sure, some of the messages are there, although I wouldn't say this is like an explicitly religious film other than that one scene. Most of the film has this air of spirituality to it. However, it provides so much more than just that. It's giving you a feeling and an environment and characters that don't need to have some added level of these religious connotations that are then brought out in that scene. The animation on a technical level is absolutely wonderful. I loved the way this film looked. I loved the backgrounds and the character design. I loved the nuances in this movement. This is actually a properly animated movie that sort of harkens back to an older style of animation, whilst it is sort of you can tell digital tech has been used to make this animation. Obviously this isn't a hand-drawn animated film. It still has a certain quaint, vintagey, sort of artisanal style to it, like almost a hand-drawn kind of style to it, and I think also a lot of that comes through in the sort of slightly lower frame rate of the movement, drawing this emphasis to the facial expressions and how dynamic the physical space is, without having it need to be this very ultra clear, fluid digital image. So all of that I really loved a lot. The music then, in turn, really adds a lot, because it's taking some classical songs, classical tunes, and then merging it with something new and something original, and something very relaxing to listen to, and it is in conversation with the images completely. This is not just like a soundtrack to the film. This is not a score that's just been put there as background noise. Every edit, every thing the characters do can be signified through the score and through the music, and that really shows an attention to detail, and an attention to the emotional trajectory of what we're watching. So all of that is really exceptional work. I think that this is a pretty wonderful thing to show young people, as a film to watch as a family. You know, that's what the filmmakers set out to make, and I think they've really succeeded in that way, because it's not only an entertaining film and a very just pleasant film to watch, but it also does sort of stimulate your mind, and you sort of think about filmic elements in a way. You think about the sort of genius simplicity of the fact that this film, other than the scene I don't like, that this film is just purely sound and image, and you know, just how effective that is when it's done in this poetic manner. It doesn't need to overstay its welcome. You're just sort of immersed in it, and I think being introduced to that style of what is effectively silent cinema is very beneficial to young people, definitely. So yeah, I was a big fan of this film, and I think it will do well. I think it must have come out last Christmas, a few months ago, but if it feels odd to watch it now, you know, maybe wait till next Christmas, or watch it now. It's up to you. It's free to watch on YouTube if you search up the film. And yeah, I thought this was really lovely.